Since the dawn of time, marketing has been an important part of skateboard history. Originally, it was inspired by surf culture. However, towards the end of the 1970s, skateboarding was dying. And then it got big again. This bust and boom period is something that has happened every decade until recently. One of the most momentous breakthroughs of this period is the ollie, which was invented on the flat ground by Rodney Mullen. Rodney Mullen also invented the kickflip by accident in the same time period. This rad new way to get air allowed for more attractive magazine covers, along with skate videos and movies that made skateboarders look like people defying gravity, which helped skateboarding become popular again. These high airs needed wider boards to land on the ground, and so started the graphics revolution as a response to the larger canvas. These graphics allowed for a more realistic image, and so many were made that no two kids in a given neighborhood would have the same board. One of the companies leading the 1980s was Paul Peralta, which had a very different advertising scheme than the companies of the 1970s. As those companies would show a picture of a skateboarder doing a trick, Paul Peralta would show a team rider holding a dead dog with the title, "Choose Your Own Dinner." The downside to ramp skating was that as more people became skateboarders, there were not enough ramps and parks to go around, so these kids would skate in the street. These kids would buy the pro models of street skaters, such as the likes of Natas Kaupas, Mark Gonzalez, and Steve Rocco. The bad part was that skateboarding's main attraction was ramp skating, and these once ramp skating stars could no longer make a living, but not enough street skaters were old enough to become pros. This made the lives of many ramp, otherwise known as vert for vertical skaters, very hard, as Tony Hawk says in a Jenka magazine article. By 1991, I sensed that skating's popularity was waning, and definitely the interest in vert skating was falling even faster. My checks were getting cut in half pretty much every month starting in 1991. But once skateboarding had transitioned to street, it was easier to start your own company. So companies would pop up everywhere, and because skateboarding was so small, companies would do crazy things just to compete with each other. In fact, one of the more successful things to be done was by taking famous non-skateboard related logos and making them your own. Says Kingpin magazine, skateboarding has had a long history of flaunting copyright law, comparable to the way in which it makes little distinction between public and private space. This can be seen right from the early days. Despite most of society not liking skateboarders due to the fact that they would trespass to skate a spot, this only served to let companies sell more and more boards as long as they had a wild image. However, there would be a major turning point in skateboarding, which would allow it to go even more mainstream than it had before. The moment Tony Hawk landed the 900 at the 1999 X Games. Him landing the trick was not just a major impact on skateboarding, but because the X Games was a nationally televised event that many non-skateboarders were watching, it became a big deal, and quickly any toy might have Tony Hawk's name on it. Not only that, but he, in collaboration with Activision, had released a video game, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, which according to numerous skateboarders is why they started skateboarding. Nowadays, marketing plays a huge part in skateboarding and is also the reason why many skateboarders are pushed to progress.